There have been some pretty large-scale escalations happening across the Middle East in the last sort of 24 hours. Channel 12, which is essentially the Israel's news channel, has reported that Israel is in the worst situation globally since its inception. The world hates us, support for us is at a low, and anti-Semitism is at a new high. Can't disagree with that, Channel 12, and you can see that this isn't just the world, this is your neighbours. There have been massive protests for the 7th night in a row in Jordan outside the Israeli embassy. They are livid. They're shouting, "We are the H group." They're shouting, "We are the people you need to fear." There is a lot of tensions rising. And then on the night of the 30th, an Iraqi drone hit a military dockyard in Israel. Now, it came very, very close to taking out a ship, but it did take out a building of this dockyard. You can see the damage that it caused here. Now, this is a military target. It's important to note that when we look at what happens next. So, it became very clear that this was from Iraq. So the Israelis bombed the building next to the Iranian embassy in Damascus, in Syria. They didn't bomb Iraq, they bombed Damascus, which they love to do. It's their favourite hobby. And they bombed the building next to the Iranian embassy. Now, they did kill 7 people, one of whom was quite a high-up general in the Iraqi army. But they're playing with fire, because if you look at this picture, you can see just how close the building that they blew up is next to the Canadian embassy. And it's more of this, we don't really care, we're going to do what we want, we're going to blow up what we want, and it doesn't matter who gets the rubble and the shortfall. Very, very scary what's happening with Israel at the moment. And it was confirmed earlier today that at least 6 people were killed by the Israeli strike on Iran's embassy, or rather the house next door, where I believe a number of people were sleeping. Again, this is not a military target. This is a political target. This is targeting civilians. Of those 6 people killed, there'll be women, children, etc. This is very, very different from hitting a military target. But Israel, and I have to say it, America and its NATO allies, including us, don't seem to realise the gravity of hitting civilian targets as if they are military targets. It's just not gravy, and no one in the world considers it such. The Arab world are having mass protests. There are people suggesting that they're going to walk to Palestine to free hostages. There are protests going on all over the place. And even countries that aren't allowing protests, like Egypt, are becoming further and further away from Israel. Israel is becoming a pariah, not just in the Middle East, but also to itself, with massive protests outside Netanyahu's house. His residence was surrounded last night, surrounded again tonight. This is becoming a situation where we are essentially funding a tiny armed militia to cause devastation across the Middle East, and it really, really needs to be seen as such.